Hello, young global citizens. We have a wonderful guest with us today, Mrs. Lea Thompson. Lea Catherine Thompson is an American actress. Thompson has starred in more than 30 films, 25 television movies, 4 television series, more than 20 ballets, and starred on Broadway in Cabaret. She's best known for her role as Lorraine Baines McFly in the Back to the Future film trilogy and Beverly Switzler in Howard the Duck. Other films for which she is known include All the Right Moves, Red Dawn, Some Kind of Wonderful, and The Beverly Hillbillies. Lea took a break from acting to look after her first child and then returned to acting. It was then that she was first given the script of a new NBC sitcom, Caroline in the City. That was in 1995. It was probably the best decision Lea ever made. She won a People's Choice Award for Best Actress in a New Sitcom. Lea lives in Los Angeles with her husband of over 30 years, film television director Howard Deutsch, and their 2 talented daughters, and along with many dogs, fish, horses, chickens, a cat, a tortoise, and parrot. She supports and often performs for breast cancer, mental health, and Alzheimer's charities. Lea is currently writing her first book of essays. Please, my young global citizens, give a warm welcome to Miss Lea Thompson. Hello.
Hi.
Hi. So, Lea, before we start all our questions, Chris Ford, a teacher from Alvin Buchwald School in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, would like to say a few words of appreciation.
Oh, that's sweet.
Hi, Lea. I'm a grade 6 teacher in Saskatoon, and we were doing some research about you for this project, and we're so impressed with all the writing you've been doing and the producing and even blogging with your daughter, I saw. And in one interview, I saw you were talking about how you've been watching a lot of TV over the pandemic, and that you came to the realization of how important the role of entertainers were in the profession. And we were very impressed. And something that struck me is you said, I'm so happy and appreciative to have these people in my living room. And we're so happy to have you in our classrooms today. And we just wanted to know, to let you know that we appreciate you being here and the work that you've done throughout your career. And with that, I have one question from my student. I hope it's okay. This is Rita, and a little bit about a legacy.
About what? Oh, hi.
Her legacy.
Hi.
Okay, the question is, if you had a time capsule, what would you put in it and why?
If you had a time capsule.
Whoa, that is a really great question. Well, you know, what's interesting is technology changes so fast. Like you couldn't put a cell phone because they wouldn't be able nowadays, and it's something people don't know is that the way we deliver film has changed so many times that the Smithsonian has to convert it every time. Every time we go from records to tapes to CDs to hard drives, they have to convert it. So it's hard to think. So pretty much books and paper and actual hard photographs, which are rare nowadays, are what you would have to put in a time capsule. So if it was, it's literally the best question I've ever been asked, and I'm stymied. I don't even.
It could be your upcoming book.
Yeah, it would be it would have to be books and pictures. But it's this time that you guys live in with so much information, digital information, and something we also don't realize is that digital information is not forever. Hard drives degrade really quickly. And so one thing that's funny is that we used to make movies on film, like actual film.
Yes.
And now we don't. So, but film lasts for 100 years and hard drives don't. So they're making movies digitally and now converting it to film to save it, which is a really interesting thing. So you go back and you go forward. You go you go forward and you go back to the future.
We have two questions from Cloverdale Catholic School in Surrey, British Columbia. So welcome, you students from British Columbia, and ask away.
Hi, I'm Zoe from CCS, and my question is, can you tell us about your childhood growing up, and who were the people who were a big influence at your life in the time?
I was born in a small town in Minnesota called Rochester, Minnesota. And then I grew up mostly in Minneapolis, and I was a dancer. I always wanted to be a dancer. My oldest brother is a dancer, a ballet dancer. And so we didn't have hardly any money. So I had to take the bus and get a scholarship in order to be able to take dance classes. And so my biggest influences, and then I actually got to do like plays at a children's theater. I just really loved performing. And I just really pursued that dream, but it wasn't easy. It's a different time. I had to take the bus and, kind of really be self-motivated because that was my dream. And my mom had 5 kids and no money. So my biggest influences at the time were my big brother, Andrew, who was such a hard worker, because you really do, it is about if you want to achieve your dreams, it's about taking each tiny step. It might seem like the mountain might seem insurmountable, but if you just think about each step and working hard every day, you will not only build your own self-esteem, but you'll by the time you'll get higher and higher on that mountain, and you'll look back and you'll be like, wow. But it just takes that hard work and every little step. And so I think I learned that from my brother, watching him every day, working towards his goal. And then later when I became an actor, my biggest inspiration were the people like that I saw that really just weren't in it to become famous or anything like that. They were in it to work hard and to be the best that they could be.
Very good. So we have a second question from the same school.
Hi, I'm Erin Vino from Cloverdale Catholic School. And how did you get into acting, and when did you know that you wanted to pursue acting for a living? What was your first role?
Well, like I said, I was a ballet dancer, and I was a professional ballet dancer, and I didn't really have the right body for it to be a ballet dancer. So I started kind of trying to pursue acting, and I was living in New York all by myself. I was 20 years old, and I had the opportunity to do a musical, to get in a ballet company, or to do a play. And I had to pick that day. And I was like, I think I want to be an actress. It was a very strange moment. And so I did the play, and then I just worked really, really hard. And now I am mostly a director. I direct Stargirl, the Goldbergs. I have 2 Star Trek Picards coming out. I just did Resident Alien in Canada. That just came out. So mostly I'm a director. So a lot of times the lesson that I have learned is that sometimes the thing you think you want to do isn't the thing you're supposed to do. So you have to be able to move and pivot. Because all I wanted to do was be a ballet dancer. And then I didn't quite make it. And all of a sudden acting opened up, and it was a much better job for me. And now acting is kind of dried up, and now I'm a director. And that's a new direction for me, and one that's really good for me for this time in my life. So sometimes, you're working hard towards one goal, And then you have to be aware that it might change.
So now we will have 2 pre-recorded questions coming all the way from a school in New Zealand,
Oh my goodness.
totally at the other end of the world.
How lovely.
So let's listen to that.
Hi Leah, my name is Rova. I'm 12 and I go to Manadawa Intermediate School in South Auckland, New Zealand. My question is, you studied ballet and were an accomplished ballerina. Do you still dance? And why did you not pursue your career in ballet?
Hi. Yes, I was, I loved dance, but I just, my body just wasn't, it's just like a lot like professional skating and, you really need to have this kind of crazy, perfect body at the time. Now dance is more inclusive. Now you don't have to look, weigh 2 pounds and everything like that. Dance feels a lot more inclusive, and there's hip hop and there's different kinds of dance where you don't have to have like this crazy perfect body. But I knew I was never going to be the kind of dancer I wanted to be, so I had to pivot. And but I did get to do Dancing with the Stars a little while ago, which was fun. To use my dancing skills. I just did a music video as a dancer. Someone just hired me to be in a music video.
What music video?
Life is What We're Living, I think it's called. I don't know.
We'll look it up.
Yeah, I did it with, it hasn't come out yet. I did it with Tyler Posey, who played Teen Wolf. He's not even a dancer. We just had a great time, just like dancing in a rock video. So, it comes in handy. And one of the lessons that I want to tell you guys is that sometimes you'll study something and you kind of don't know when it's going to come in handy in your life. And it will, like people who act in school, you don't realize, even if you're not going to become an actor, you don't realize that it's going to help you later in life when you become, if you're working in business, but you need to talk in front of people, or, it just makes you more comfortable being in front of people, or you just don't know. Everything that you learn adds up to something that you can't predict. So my dancing has come in handy for me, not only as an actress, but as a singer and as a director, and even as a mom, so, and as a person, because I get to stay in shape by kind of dancing around and doing things. So my lesson is that everything you learn, you might not understand why it's important now, but later it'll show itself as why you had to learn it, and it'll be important later.
So everything is useful.
Yes.
And you just find out with time sometimes.
Yeah.
So we have another question coming all the way from New Zealand for you.
Kia ora, Ms. Lea Thompson. This is Ross Devro, Deputy Principal from Manerewa Intermediate School in Auckland, New Zealand. It's a real honour to be able to ask you this question. But what was it like filming Back to the Future? Did you ever think that you would be chosen for a role in a movie that would become such a big box office hit? Thank you so much.
I had a great part in a movie called Back to the Future that is oddly still beloved by people. I think maybe some of you kids have seen it. A lot of times the parents would like to watch it with their kids. And then in the case of like my mother-in-law, who's 92, she's watched the movie with her daughter, her daughter's daughter, and her daughter's daughter. So 4 generations of women watching this movie I made 37 years ago. It's really a joyful experience to be part of something like that. And when I got the part, I knew it was a great part because I get to play the same person in different ages, and they're very different, complicated aspects of the same person. And I knew it was a great part. And it was also Steven Spielberg, who was a huge director, and Bob Zemeckis, and the script was really great. So I felt really lucky, but I had no idea that that it would still be seen on TV all the time. So, and I worked very hard on the part. I really did a lot of work on the character, which kind of means like you really have to study it. You really have to, it's just a lot of work to really be good at anything. So I worked really hard on the character. It wasn't me. I had to make someone else up. Anyway, I feel extremely lucky that people still love that film. So thank you for that question.
Now we're coming back to Canada, and we have 2 questions from Blessed Sacrament School in Vancouver, British Columbia.
Do you still maintain friendships with Michael J. Fox, Christopher Lloyd, and other members of the cast?
Yes, I still see them. Actually, I saw Christopher Lloyd this weekend, and we do a lot of Comic-Cons. Or we used to, before, this was the first one back from the pandemic. So most of the time I see them at Comic-Cons, and but it's really a nice feeling. And like I was just saying, we're all still surprised that Christopher and I did had an audience, and we talked about Back to the Future and answered questions, and there were like 2,000 people there this weekend. And it's still so surprising that people really care about the movie. And Chris and I just did a Christmas movie together. But what's funny is that we've done 7 movies together, 4 of which took 6 months to shoot. So that's 2 whole years of filming, and then a bunch of other movies. And we've only been in 1 scene together.
Wow. But you must know each other quite well, spending so much time on film sets.
Yes. Well, we actually hang out a lot more at the Comic-Cons with the fans. So I was trying to find a picture of us together this weekend. But we all really love each other and are super close. I get to see Tom Wilson, who played Biff, quite a bit. And we enjoy our time together. And obviously are super, have a lot of jokes.
Yeah. What about Michael?
Michael, I see at Comic-Cons. He lives in New York, and I live in California, but I love seeing him. He's still so funny. And of course, I do a lot of things for his charity for Parkinson's. Yes. He has Parkinson's, and I do a lot for his charity. He's raised $1 billion.
Wow.
$1 billion.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. So we do have a second question coming from this Blessed Sacrament School in Vancouver.
Hi, my name is Nina, and my question is, Howard the Duck was underappreciated when it came out. Today, it is a part of the Marvel Universe. Would you like to join the Marvel Universe? And if so, which character would you like to play?
Oh, what a great question. Well, to tell you the truth, and that's so sweet, I've been lobbying for years to direct a different Howard the Duck movie starring Howard the Duck as an animated character, which I believe he should have been, but they didn't have the technology when I made the movie that long ago. So that's one of the reasons I've been directing movies, TV shows like Star Trek, Picard, and Stargirl, because I didn't want them to say you couldn't handle all the special effects. So I really would like to direct a Howard the Duck movie. But to be honest, there aren't that many, sadly, in the Marvel in any kind of comic book. There aren't that many women that are older. There are not that many women, period. But there's not that many women that are older. So I can't even think of a character that I could play, but maybe someday they'll include women over 50 in the world, because there's a lot of us. I was shooting in Vancouver Resident Alien, and it was really fun because I got to direct a play, a kids play. So I got to work with a bunch of young actors from Vancouver and direct them in a play for the TV show. So that was really fun to get to really meet some of the young kids in Vancouver. So it's nice to meet you as well. You're so lovely.
Yay. So now we have questions coming all the way from First Nation in Old Crow, Yukon. It's the Vuntut-Gwitchin First Nation in Old Crow, Yukon. We have 2 questions for you.
How cool.
First question, can you draw any parallels between the movie Red Dawn and what is going on in the world today?
It's just about this small town and these kids that fight back that are insurgents. I did feel uniquely weird about it because there's this strange period of time in America where our president was praising Putin, and our President Trump was praising Putin, and it just seemed so weird to me because he seemed so it seemed so wrong. And so when I see these images of people fighting back, insurgents and people who had no idea that they would have to have a gun in their hand, it felt uniquely, scary and personal in a dumb way because I had done this movie. And at the time it seemed impossible, but it's not. And we all have to fight. We have to fight against the bad guys, people doing what he's doing.
What is the second question?
So I have another question for you. You have worked with many different actors. Which actor or actors had a significant impact on your life?
I have worked with so many actors, and it's such a unique and interesting experience to act with someone and to direct them. But I did a movie just a little while ago called The Year of Spectacular Men, and I directed it, and I directed both of my children, Zoe Deutsch and Madeline Deutsch. My daughter Madeline wrote it, starred in it, scored it, and sang the songs, and I directed it, acted in it. My other daughter, Zoe Deutsch, she produced it and acted in it. So we all did it together, made this movie together. So that was such a unique experience acting with my daughters, because there's a strange kind of shorthand that there's some kind of like connection that you make when you're acting with someone that's specific and unusual. And so it was really fun to do that with my daughters. But I feel like, I just directed Patrick Stewart, and I learned so much from him. He's such a graceful and funny and powerful and silly, like he's everything. And so I feel like I really learned a lot from him just because I just worked with him. And actors are really extraordinary because they have to be so vulnerable in front of so many people. And so that's one thing I learned from working with great actors. But it's each one is different. Sometimes you learn how not to be. There's plenty of actors that are like super annoying and narcissistic, and they don't play with the team. We're all a team trying to create something, and I believe very much that no one is better than anyone else. That everyone's position in any workplace is just as important, and that's something that I've always believed and had respect for. And it's another thing that I love about being an actor is that equality. Me, who's been acting for 40 years, when I work with a young actor that's only 10, that's been acting for 6 months, we are equal. We're both as important. And actually the kid could be better than me, actor. So I love that about acting, because I truly believe in my heart that no one is better than anyone else, that we're all equal. Thank you.
You're doing a great job.
Thank you so much, Selena. I wish I could see you.
Yes.
Thank you, Selena, all the way from Yukon. And now we're going to the United States in South Carolina. So we have two questions from Robert Sullivan School in Rock Hill, South Carolina. Ask
Rock
away.
Hill.
Hi.
My husband shot in Rock Hill.
Yay! Awesome. So my name is Cynthia Texera, and I'm a French immersion teacher here at Rock Hill Middle School. And
Bonjour.
Bonjour. And so our students will be saying their questions in French and English, just so that you know. So don't worry, we'll translate after for you. So we have Robert first with our first question.
Bonjour, Robert.
Bonjour. De quel film et ou série êtes-vous le plus fier et pourquoi? That means what movie or series are you most proud about and why?
I'm most proud of my movie, The Year of Spectacular Men, that I directed, but I think it's rated R. I'm not sure. Because it was the first thing that I created myself from scratch with my daughter, and so it's very personal, and it was also with my two daughters who I love very much. But of course, I'm proud of Back to the Future, which is such a big, cultural experience in the world, and I've been lucky enough to make a few movies that I really loved, and in my a million years in the business.
Thank you. Merci.
Merci.
Our next question is from Myasia.
Hi.
Quelles sont les causes qui vous passionnent particulièrement et pourquoi? What are some causes that you feel particularly passionate about and why?
I am very passionate about a lot of causes. Causes, I don't know, about issues. I'm passionate about peace. I just lost a friend in Ukraine who was shot through the neck, which made me very sad. And so I'm passionate about peace. I'm passionate about inclusion, about all kinds of social causes. I'm very passionate about, and I'm not the best at speaking about them, so I try to use my art. I'm super excited to have been able to direct 2 Star Trek Picards, because Star Trek, when I was a little girl, and historically the whole franchise has been always about racism, always against racism, always talking about racism. So I had that opportunity to direct an episode that was a lot about that. And so I feel lucky that I can use my art to create good, or to try to create good in the world, to try to create. One thing about art that's beautiful is that you can by watching a movie, you can walk a mile in someone else's shoes. You can understand, you can become empathetic in a way that's unusual and really important. So I'm not a great speaker. I've spoken at women's marches, I've spoken at different things, but I try to use my art but I'm also like, I sing a lot for charities. I sing for breast cancer charities. I try to make money for Parkinson's or Alzheimer's, things like that when I can. I do the very best I can. And I think that, it's important for all of us to just do the little bit that we can to every day be more inclusive, to be more open-minded, and to be kind.
Lea, thank you so much for being with us today. It was wonderful. Your answers were so inspiring. And thank you to all our young global citizens.
bum ba da dum bum bum ba da da bum 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 ba da bum ba da bum 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 bum.